Hello and welcome to this week's football talk. I know you've missed us. It's been 2 weeks for the international break, and I've missed this voice on the other end of the call. Hello, David Nichols.
Hello, Joshua Cool. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. What 2 weeks in football? So much must have happened, and obviously we've got so much to catch up on.
I know.
It's been a lot going on, isn't it?
It's been a lot. It's been a lot to catch up on. You'd thought, international break, it would all calm down. I guess the first thing I just want to say, I just want to hijack your intro, and I just want to put out there that you were correct on the Jukanovic sacking from Fulham. Congratulations.
When I'm making my my notes for this podcast, I had that in big red writing going, make sure you mention this bad boy. Yes, I was. It didn't quite play out exact. Yeah, it was. It could have. They could have sacked him and hired an interim manager, a caretaker. That would have made me very happy because caretakers need work as well.
Yeah.
But
they do.
Yeah, not the same caretakers you get in your schools. But
yeah, I was going to say. I'd be a bit shocked if they just rocked up with someone with a broom. He'll do for a week.
Yes. Suddenly, a local secondary school is really messy. Why is this filthy? Well, he's actually just managing Fulham for a week, so he'll be back soon. Don't worry.
Okay, so what else in the news there, mate?
What
caught your eye? What
caught my eye was Didier Drogba. The man retiring. And you know what? I thought, God, he's a legend, isn't he? But then I looked at his... I obviously went to Wikipedia because that's where we live if we're not talking.
Yeah.
Is he a bit overrated?
I don't...
I'll hit you with this, right? I will say he was a fantastic cup final player, but in the league he didn't. He had a couple of seasons which were outstanding, and then quite a few which weren't really. So he was outstanding in 09-10, scoring 29 league goals, and 06-07 scoring 20 goals. But in his other 6 seasons, exclude 7 if you include his return, he scored 10 goals, 12 goals, 8 goals, 5 goals, 11 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals in the league. That's not great, is it?
But isn't he one of those strikers? It's more about what he brought to the team and how they played and everything like that, rather than just his goals.
Well, yeah, but then he did bring the goals sometimes, so it kind of like, well, it's if he never brought the goals, I'd understand that more. But he had it in him to bring the goals, but didn't bring them. It's like he left them at home, for most of his career.
True,
but
I really liked him. I thought he was a big game player, sort of like you said, and it just, I don't know, maybe he was a bit overhyped.
I think he's a good striker, but yeah, it's just those, because it's the key match. And be it the matches against the other top sides or the cup finals where he shone, I think it maybe kind of muddies the waters into his kind of consistency overall. But yeah, a very good player, no doubt a Chelsea legend for what he did. But sad to see the old guard retiring. Joe Cole retired, Didier Drogba, John Terry, Frank Lampard. It's all and we're getting old.
I know, mate. Time catches up with everyone. It's not just us footballers as well.
No, they're human as well. So
exactly.
But there was also, I think you had another former Chelsea striker you wanted to. You dropped me a note during the week. Yeah.
Yeah. Just something I wanted to chat about was Fernando Torres. Now, it's sort of like a double-edged sword. This thing that caught myself in the news, because the first thing is, how badly did his career fall off a cliff? But secondly, on the positive side, he scored the winning goal that kept his current club in China in their Chinese Premier League. Like, proper, if I went and watched it, and on the highlights, and it was a proper Fernando Torres-esque goal. Like, running at 2 defenders.
Touch
First touch, beautiful. Lovely finish into the bottom corner. It was quite good to see it from a player that's not really ever been a fan of Fernando Torres, but it was good to see him do something like that.
Yeah, and it's always nice. I mean, I wonder how he feels about it. He must feel happy, but does he think, oh man, I'm far?
Yeah, I think he must think, what have I done to end up here, really?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Hey,
but, yeah.
Would you do that? I don't know if we touched on this before. So if you were, say you were a top level striker, the other Didier Drogba's, the Torres is, would you keep playing and eke out your career wherever you could, or would you go do a Zidane and just go, I'm going out now?
That's a very good question, actually. It's a very good question. I think I would... I've always pictured it that if I'd made a success in football, I'd be one of those players that went down the divisions in England rather than going abroad. But that was because when we grew up, there was no going abroad, was there, as an old player? The MLS wasn't what it is. The Chinese league wasn't what it is. So, yeah, I've always pictured it to be like, I'd be like a Teddy Sheringham. I'd drop down the divisions.
Nice. I think now, I'd use it to travel the world. So, like, go and play out in Australia, or I'd love to live in New Zealand, maybe see what their league like. Don't hear much about that. Or Canada. I could play for kind of Toronto or Vancouver, something like that. And
but you'd be earning enough money that you could just fly to those places for holiday. You wouldn't have to go and work out there.
Yeah, I know, but it's just nice to be able to get paid to live there for a bit. I mean, 6 months, 12-month contracts, and then come back. So I think that would be
Jermaine Defoe-esque. Pop to Toronto.
Yeah. Pop to Toronto. Think this is weird. I'm going back. I'm going back to Bournemouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I had some other tidbits of news. It's just very Chelsea-centric. So I was just in my research for a quiz question. I found out that Andrei Shevchenko has got the same number of Premier League goals as Jack Colback.
That's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing. Obviously, a different amount of games, but I remember when Andrei Shevchenko signed for Chelsea, I was like, this guy is going to break all the goal-scoring records. He's amazing. And then he wasn't.
No, yeah.
He wasn't amazing.
He was thoroughly disappointing. I wanted him to do well, even though he signed for Chelsea, because he had that aura, didn't he, from his Milan days. But not to be. Yeah, not to be.
My final bit of Chelsea element news was, again, looking at players like when in the Didier Drogba era, and there's the SCN, and then I was looking at Michael Ballack, and I realised his name is a letter S away from ball. Letter S.
I couldn't hold the laughter back.
His name is a letter.
It's so childish.
It's so childish. Right. Are we taking this as it is?
Oh, this is staying in.
Right. I let Dave know beforehand, and he can't contain it, because I found out that Michael Ballack's name is the letter S away from being Michael Ballsack, and it just...
hang on, I've unplugged my headphones.
So, I'm sure I'm aware of that, but if you can let him know that he's Michael Ballsack.
Right. If you've survived through this laughter, bloody hell.
Okay, right. I'll hold the fort together. So, other news that I want to touch on, we had obviously the international break.
Yes, we did.
We had
Everybody loves
England.
Everybody loves the Nations League. Everybody loves it.
And England are going to the finals next summer. Please. England, along with the Netherlands, who are kind of reborn. England a little bit reborn, and Switzerland and Portugal. But yes, it's fascinating to see us there. I honestly thought we could easily got relegated from our group.
I thought we would have done the old planned, let's get relegated, and then everyone will be like, well, no one cares anyway. And then next season we'll win the league, and everyone will be like, oh, this is quite good actually. Look at us, we've won something. But it turns out we've got a chance of actually winning the whole damn competition.
It's funny because very rare. I think we said this before. Very rarely we've been at the dawn of a new tournament, or maybe renamed like Europa from UEFA, Champions League. It's changed format, but a new one. So it's kind of like, depending on how serious teams take it, it may in 50 years' time, so it's still going, be a really quite a important trophy. So I think we'll go all for it.
I think it's a weird one. I don't think the trophy per se is the important bit of it. I think it's the qualification, and for the Euros and the possibility of the qualification rounds and things like that, because it's absolutely incredible to think that like Scotland and that have already now got a qualification spot. I think it's Scotland, and that the fact that one of Kosovo and not San Marino, they didn't win a game, Kosovo, Belarus, Georgia and somebody else are definitely going to be at the Euros, which is, in my opinion, good. I don't want the Euros to get bigger. I just like it when there's a way that one of those teams can get a little bit better. I know you don't. But...
Yeah. No, but what I have enjoyed from this is that, like, Gibraltar have won games. I think they've got a better win rate this year than Germany have.
They do.
It's just nice to. It must be really nice for those countries to have something to cheer about, rather than because I've been listening to that Peter Crouch podcast, and he was talking about international matches and playing against like Andorra when they're playing 5 at the back, 5 in midfield, and then they had that one roaming midfielder would dribble the ball forwards, get tired, pass it back to them. It's like go again. It's like we've found no value in it. So by playing more games against teams around your standing, and then obviously promotion relegation, it's much better for everybody involved. So yeah, that's something which I thought was good.
I agree. I think the only thing I do is when do you limit the poorer teams from just not entering the Nations League? I mean, because San Marino, the whole point with San Marino is they're meant to be in the bottom division, so they play teams similar. They still didn't get even a point in their group.
Yeah, it's got to be someone who loses.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Is there anything else in the news that caught your eye?
Just to touch on something, we went in our prison episode a couple of weeks ago with Nicholas Bentner. Obviously had a pending 50-day jail term. He's dropped his and will serve some prison time. So Bentner will be in the clink.
Yeah, but that's so he can go in and be like, I'm the best footballer in this prison. And then he'll leave.
Challenge everybody to a five-a-side.
Yeah, classic Nicholas Bentner.
The other thing I noticed that earlier this week, it would have been... Also, at this point in time, say 4 years' time from now, Dave, what will we be doing 4 years' time?
Oh my God, I'll be really old. 4 years... Oh, it'll be Qatar.
Yeah, Qatar will be on. It'll be happening. It'll be doing.
That is weird, isn't it? What's going to happen to the league? What's going to happen to the cups? What's going to happen to the season? What's going to happen to European competition? It's so many questions. It's only 4 years away. Bloody hell.
I need some answers. We'll answers when we have them, listeners. Answers when we have them.
Exactly.
But,
exactly.
I think apart from that, that's most of the news. There's been a few bits like the Copa Libertadores match got just delayed again.
I mean, surely, right? Because did you read about it on the BBC when they did the history of it as well? And they said like Boca got kicked out of the tournament last year because of what they did to the players. Surely River Plate should just get kicked out and be like, look, this is unacceptable. Your team's going to get punished.
Well, it's just constant. It's like other teams do. Fans have gone to similar lengths. It's just passion, isn't it? Passion. But they're taking it too far. They need to clamp down overall.
You don't have to be a dickhead to have passion. We have passion.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't punch you every time Tottenham beat Man United. Well, I couldn't because you're in the other side of the world, but I never did when we lived close to each other.
No, you didn't. No, thanks for that.
That's because Tottenham didn't really score against Man United. So.
No. You were safe in the knowledge I'd never punch you.
yeah, that's true. I bruised like a peach, so...
Yeah, well, tell me about it.
Anyway, right. Moving on. Yeah.
Moving on. Right. So I think that comes to the end of the news section, unless you've got any other major stories there, Dave.
Nah. Oh, last one. Thierry Henry got his first win. And Solari's Real Madrid got absolutely smashed.
Yeah. Who's going to get sacked first?
Solari, because it's Real Madrid.
All right, I'm going to go for Thierry Henry, so we'll have that. I'll pick up the pace of the. That's our new ongoing bet.
I love it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Come on, Solari. Right, so we'll move on into Kamara.
Quiz Kamara. I've got my pen and paper ready, Josh. I'm ready.
Got your pen and paper ready. This is the weekly feature where I quiz Dave. Sometimes Dave quizzes me, but this week it's back to normal. So, the quiz question this week. Who was the last manager to win a European trophy for the original top four? So, for Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United. Who was the last manager to win a European trophy for those clubs?
Right, okay. Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool.
Liverpool. Mm-hmm.
So,
because Man City haven't won one since 1970 and Spurs haven't won one since 1984, so I thought that was a bit harsh. But if you can offer me those, that would be fantastic.
No chance. Right, I'll get one out of the way. Man United, Mourinho.
And what did he win?
The Europa League.
In?
2 seasons ago. Whatever that was.
Yes, 16, 17.
16-17 season. Right, okay. Liverpool will be Benitez, Champions League.
Yeah, do you remember the year?
I should do because it's very famous. No, I don't know the year top of my head.
Oh, I remember it from being at university.
Yeah, I know I was at university, but my memory's rubbish.
First year of uni, 0405 that was.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Arsenal. Oh, my God. Not going to get... Because did Arsene Wenger win anything in Europe? No, couldn't have done. Unless it was like the Cup Winners' Cup. They didn't win that. Chelsea. Avram Grant. No, Di Matteo. Champions League.
Incorrect.
Oh, damn it. Okay, we'll come back to it. I've got 2 left.
Right. So, yeah, Arsenal, Chelsea left. Okay. All right. So, caps on. You've still got 2 to get as well. Maybe you're shouting down the down at your screen right now, but who knows? Right. So, obviously, we're back now from international break into the lovely Premier League is back. Don't you love the Premier League, Dave?
Love it. Absolutely
it's
love
back.
It.
And on Saturday the 24th, we had 7 games to tickle your fancy. It was mostly 3 p.m. kickoffs. I was looking forward to an early kickoff, watching a little bit of a lunchtime kickoff. Well, not for you, been an evening kickoff for you, Dave, but instead we had 3 p.m. kickoffs. So we'll start with Brighton versus Leicester.
A very interesting game. I mean...
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I like from everything that happened. Well, what do you want? A penalty? Red card? Glenn Murray still scoring goals? What more do you want from Brighton v Leicester?
Vardy still scoring. It's a tale of 2 English centre forwards, isn't it? Doing what they do best.
What? Drinking vodka and whatever it was he drinks. Glenn Murray scoring.
Yeah, Glenn Murray scoring, Jamie Vardy scoring, done. But yeah, I think after this match there'll be one set of fans who are quite happy and one set of fans who are completely distraught. Really, if you're at home, 1-0 up against a side with 10 men. You really should be holding on to that, shouldn't you?
You really should be. And it was such a crap tackle to give away the penalty as well from Kyle. It was rubbish. Take
your pick. It could have been for probable handball beforehand or then him diving in for the penalty. It was just rubbish, wasn't it? It was just... He scored a lovely goal for Israel against Scotland, I think it was, in the international break, but this had no element of class to it whatsoever.
And we like class, don't we, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely.
We do like class. That's not, yeah.
But yeah, Jack, Glenn Murray popping again wasn't a difficult goal to score. The 9th oldest player to reach 100 Premier League appearances, by the way.
There you go. Interesting, didn't know that. It was 100th appearance, wasn't it, for Glenn Murray as well?
Yeah.
Good way to mark it.
Yeah. Other highlights of this match, obviously we had... James Maddison, the young Leicester midfielder, amazingly getting 2 yellow cards in 2 minutes with the second one for diving. That ridiculous. Is very naive.
and the dive was rubbish. It wasn't even a good dive.
No, it's just pathetic, wasn't it? So he should hang his head in shame because that was awful.
Yeah, he should be dropped. And he should get a club ban. They should ban him.
Whoa, that's you going in heavy.
Yeah, I'm going in heavy. Diving's rubbish. Why do it? I mean, and you need to get it out of people now with VAR coming into the Premier League and stuff and coming into world football. It needs to be eradicated, and the club should do the most to eradicate it, in my opinion.
I'd like to see players chastise each other for it, really. Like, kind of mock each other on the pitch for it. Especially if it's a really, because Messi doesn't really dive. If you dived and Messi came over and just shaking his head going, "You
twat,"
beep. all right, yeah.
Josh, we're not,
but yeah.
We never ever describe ourselves as a family-friendly podcast, so let's just go with it.
I mean, we've already talked about
Ballsack.
Michael Ballsack, so
exactly. Yeah. Don't get me going again. Right.
Right. My final takeaway from this game is Jamie Vardy, very good from a penalty spot.
Yeah, what a pen. Top right corner, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you have a preferred technique for penalties? Like, if you were, taking them, top flight, what would you do? If you got a...
Well, Josh, you're talking to a man...
method?
You're talking to a man that's taken 18 penalties, scored 18 penalties. It's a stat I'm proud of because I'm a centre-back. So,
is that serious?
Serious, yeah. I've never missed a penalty.
What's your technique?
Side foot it into one of the corners, and I decide when I'm standing on, generally, on the edge of the box or at the halfway line, depending whether it's a penalty shootout or it's in game.
Are we talking top or bottom?
Oh, bottom. Never go top. Go over the bar.
I haven't got the power.
Yeah, well, yeah, all that, yeah. But yeah, scoreboard.
Very impressive. So
my last ever game in Bristol was a cup final, and before I moved to Singapore and it went to a penalty shootout, I was player manager, put myself third in the shootout lineup and scored, and then we went on to win. My last ever touch for my football team in Bristol was scoring a penalty to win a cup.
Look, mate, this is Roy of the Rovers stuff. Oh. Well done.
Yeah, but Roy didn't get an international move, did he? On the back of it.
No.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Rolls-Royce brought me out here because of my penalty scoring attributes in a cup final.
It's on your CV.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we digress.
Right.
Oh, actually, no, we didn't digress. I've got... Sorry. I'm going to... Penalties. I really hate it when they say, oh, he sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. No, he didn't. The goalkeeper guessed the wrong way. He didn't send him the wrong way. The goalkeeper guessed the wrong way. Because goalkeepers dive pretty much before the ball's kicked, generally, in like the Premier League and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, otherwise you're not going to get there because there's too much pace on the ball. As Peter Shilton will attest. But he can... Yeah. He might have, like, kind of body-shaped eyes, just put him one way and keeper's going, right, I know where this is going. And then he goes the other way. So part of me thinks he can send him.
I don't agree with that.
Sometimes keeper will be like, I'm diving this way.
Yeah, I think the goalkeeper's already made up which way he's going.
Yeah.
I think
it's a bit 50-50.
I don't like it. In the comments below, please, people, who do you side with, me or Josh?
Does keepers go or get sent?
Oh, what a question that is for the viewers. There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Move on to the glamour title weekend. We have Everton versus Cardiff.
This was rubbish.
Yeah, it was rubbish,
I can't really defend this game other than the fact that I played 2 Everton centre-backs in my fantasy football team, so they got me lots of clean sheet points because I assumed Cardiff wouldn't score. So that's...
Yeah, but it's a fair assumption, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all I can say really about this game.
Look like... But I think again, one set of fans can be happy here. Everton fans, this could easily have ended up in a draw or a loss, and maybe would have done last year, so I think it's good that you ground out a win, and Sigurdsson popping up again. But I would, every time I watch Everton play, their wingers infuriate me because they often, like Walcott, maybe Bernard, they never pass. This came from a shot where he could have easily. It's just shooting and then he rebounded into Sigurdsson path. So just get your head up, boys. Just play a pass, and Man City do it the best because so often they play the pass and you think that they're taking the mick a bit, but it's just making things easier. So many goals that Aguero and Jesus and Sterling and Sane score is because it's just laid on the plate for them rather than there's less risk of it being saved. So my recommendation to Everton's wide men is just look for that pass that little bit more.
Because actually Walcott, when he had his shot, Sigurdsson pretty much didn't move to put the rebound in. So Walcott could have squared it and Sigurdsson would have had the exact same shot against an open goal because Etheridge had already started coming out. So I don't get it. Like, people that listen to this will probably know that I play quite a lot of Football Manager, and that is one of the biggest bugbears on Football Manager, how wingers, you've got like a 2-on-1 situation against the goalkeeper and the player will always shoot. And it's just really infuriating. So I can understand your fury at wingers not passing to better placed players.
Right, but yeah, Everton now they go above Manchester United.
They do. That they do. David Moyes will be very happy, I'm sure.
Do you reckon he will be?
I don't know. I don't. What's he doing anymore?
I reckon.
Is he still?
He's probably looking to see what job he can get.
Well, true. Yeah. I mean, he probably would be happy. Yeah, Everton treated him really well, didn't they? Everton were his club. He was there for a long time. He probably would be quite happy. Much more
affiliation with them, yeah.
Yeah, he probably would be very happy. So, yeah. Well, I'm glad we've discussed Everton v Cardiff in detail.
Yeah.
Right, Fulham.
We'll move on to the really this. What a start for Claudio Ranieri. Now, in the build-up to this, obviously we touched on it earlier in the pod. Jukanovic sacked and replaced by the manager who gave him all of his Premier League appearances.
Yes, yeah, and his first signing in the Premier League. Claudio Ranieri's first signing.
Claudio Ranieri, and this is a match made in heaven.
It's just great, isn't it?
Fulham have always had that kind of sense of kind of continent. They're just got a little bit class, that continental class. That feel they when they came into Prem, was it? They had Chris Coleman, they had John Tigana. I don't know. They always had like Louis Sarr, Steve Malbrom. It always seemed to be a bit kind of bit continental, and Claudio Ranieri oozes that continental class. And so for me, that is just perfect.
Dilly ding, and, dilly dong.
Dilly dong, absolutely. And what a match! So this was frantic, really. So if you haven't seen it, and if you wanted to, so we have. I mean, Southampton amazingly score themselves. Armstrong popping up with a goal.
He looks good. I just want to say that before we get on.
Doesn't he?
He looks like Southampton won't be hold. He looks like a Liverpool player in a couple of years. So.
Yeah, I mean, but your man equalised, didn't he? Your man Mitro.
Mitro's on fire. He's back. 6 games without a goal, and then he got a brace, and it was against Mark Hughes. So I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, Mark Hughes' time at Southampton won't be lasting much longer. Then they draw. They take the lead, and they Fulham. Sessegnon doing a bit of good work. He put in a lovely cross-field pass, kind of cross across to Schürrle, who put in. But then Southampton drew level again. Armstrong again with a lovely finish. This one is this what made you think this guy's a player? That finish was beautiful, isn't it?
It was lovely. His second goal. It was absolutely, and it was actually good football from Southampton, which is something you don't really say too often. It was a good build up to the goal, and it was a lovely finish from him. And it was I do think he looks like he's got something about him. But Mitro ended it, didn't he? So
and that was a lovely finish. Lovely finish to the back post, wasn't it? It was kind of a lot of often players would get caught surprised, but
yeah. I was going to say I don't know how he quickly got his body shape to volley that in on his right foot, because it looked set for a left-footed sort of volley or a side foot, and he laced it, didn't he? I'm pretty sure he laced it with his right foot.
Yeah.
It was lovely, lovely stuff.
But yeah, and that leaves Mark Hughes with a record as Southampton manager of 21 matches, and how many games has he won?
7.
3.
3? Oh my god! I thought I'd underestimated with 7. Gee, he's got to go. He's got to go, isn't he? They're 1 point above bottom.
We've touched on it before. Mark Hughes will not keep Southampton up, but another manager can keep them up. They're not a lost cause, but they are with Mark Hughes for me.
I'll tell you who can keep Southampton up. Sam Allardyce.
He can, but if I was Southampton, I mean, I think it's still a little bit below where this manager would be aiming, but I would put all my eggs in the Brendan Rodgers basket.
Oh, that's a good shout. Not David Moyes.
David Moyes wouldn't be bad. I'd like to see. Yeah, David Moyes needs to take managerial charge of a club who. No risk. I'm fed up of him taking the worst possible jobs. Yeah. Southampton is a bit more on that kind of line. They're not a high risk club. They're kind of medium risk of going down. But I'd like to see him just give himself a chance.
Yeah,
but
fair
Brendan Rodgers done really well wherever he's managed. His last 3 was Swansea did really well, Liverpool did well, and Celtic's obviously done fantastic. Yeah. I think he'd probably see himself as better than Southampton, but I think he could do a really good job there.
It's one of those, isn't it? He'll probably see himself better than Southampton at their current time. But Southampton should be a 9th, 10th, 11th sort of club. Pushing to try and break into that top 8, 7, 6 places. And yeah, I think
it's a thing that
he'd see them
with
as
Brendan.
He's
he's come from Liverpool and did a good job with Liverpool. He's done very well with Celtic. I think if Brent, knowing how kind of Brendan Rodgers is, he's going to be somewhat deluded and think that he should be able to get any job in England.
Yeah, that is true.
I feel like he thinks he's going to be anything beneath the top 6 side. I think he'll almost see as beneath him, unless it's like a really good project, like something like maybe like Newcastle. I think would be good for him as well. But one of those kind of sleeping giants, as it were, I think would be where he should be going.
I can see him going to Newcastle. I can see him going to Newcastle when Benitez eventually goes.
I think you'd need a takeover to happen before that, because not many people will want to work there now.
Yeah, that's true. Very true, actually. Very true.
All right, we'll move on to. Well, I mean, we can move on and then past it as well if you want, Dave. But Manchester United, Crystal Palace, 0-0.
Yeah, do you know what? We're going to
Take
talk
it away.
about it. We're going to talk about it because I stayed up to watch this game. And
Dave.
I know, I wish I hadn't because it was rubbish. Everything about it was rubbish. I mean, it was rubbish. I mean, is that enough? Is that a good enough summary? Will that get me a job as a journalist?
I mean, yeah, that has really brought it to life for me.
I mean, it's just the same old stuff, innit? What is it? 3 games we've won at Old Trafford this year. It's just this season. It's terrible. I mean, and this is one game where I can sort of side with both manager and fans that don't want the manager to be there, because we created some decent chances that we probably should have scored, but then on the other hand, it was quite clearly this game. The players aren't really playing for him. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. It's just shit. I've already said we're not a family-friendly show, so that should have been your cue to cover up your children's ears. But yeah, it was just absolutely dreadful. It's the whole demeanour around the team looks crap. I mean, I think we're now realising De Gea's going to go. I think we might have a year extension that we can just activate on his contract, but even then it wouldn't surprise me if he wants to go. The most recent one is PSG that are going to make a bid for him. I mean, Pogba was back to his absolute turd best. He was rubbish. Crystal Palace looked decent. They defended well. Both teams probably could have scored at least one. Zaha looked very lively. But it's just so bad. I mean,
it's not all bad, Dave. This is the first home clean sheet you've had this season, so that's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, and I had Lindelof in my fantasy football team, so again, bonus cloud, silver cloud, whatever you want to call it. But it's just crap, Josh. I'm fed up. It's annoying. It's Crystal Palace. It's Crystal Palace. They were.
Do you know Southampton have created more chances than you?
I know. I read that stat. They've created more goal-scoring chances, but not high chance. Not. I don't know what it is. I read not clear-cut chances. That's it. They've created more goal-scoring chances, but not clear-cut chances in the game. But it's just dreadful, innit? It's just dreadful. I'm done. This has ruined all the Ballsack that we had before.
I'm sorry. No Ballsack can bring it back from here.
Ballsack.
All right, we'll move on to your arch rivals. We'll go to Watford. We'll go to Watford, Liverpool.
Yeah. First off, how much of an idiot is Jordan Henderson? Really? I mean, really? Return to Premier League football?
He is.
Absolutely.
But do you know
stupid.
what I loved? I loved that he was almost down the tunnel before the red card was even issued. Like, that's me red carded. I'm going. Yeah. I loved it.
But he still moaned to the fourth official as he was going down.
Yeah, but so many players say ages to leave the pitch. Like, no, I'm done. Like,
see you in the shower, boys.
Yeah.
But
so respect for him to that.
I mean, what a second half! What a second half from Liverpool.
Yeah, that was, and it could again. It's kind of like the Everton match. These games could easily have been draws and losses in previous seasons, but Liverpool found a way, and it was the first goal. I mean, Ben Foster for me should have done better, but I love the fact that it's Firmino to Mane to Salah, textbook Liverpool attack, and Liverpool and Salah, making a difference really.
Yeah, and it was like so I watched the highlights of this game on Match of the Day because Josh gave me a link where I can watch it on the internet, which is great. And let's see, that's now putting you in trouble if we're ever caught by the authorities.
No.
And it was
our mutual friend Josh.
Yeah, there was a lot of lackadaisical defending from Watford, is what I'd probably describe it as. That they drew attention to quite well in the highlights, actually, a Match of the Day, where they just sort of I think it was Jan Matt at right back was marking Mane quite well, and then just seemed to forget he existed for Firmino to allow him to pass the ball. And it was sort of like, how can you be a top level professional defender and allow that to happen? And it eventually was their undoing, because they gave away a stupid free kick as well, didn't they, for Alexander-Arnold, who have we got another David Beckham on our hands? Because he struck that unbelievably well, that free kick.
He did. I love the fact that England right backs is going for it this year. Trippier did it at the World Cup. Has done it already this season, and now Trent Alexander-Arnold's showing it. It's typically been, if you look back in the Premier League era, it's always been left backs who've been the set piece experts. We've had
that's true.
Leighton Baines, Kolarov was quite good. Marcus Alonso can take a free kick.
Dennis
Matty
Irwin.
Taylor, Portsmouth, Dennis Irwin. Obviously, if you go casting it wide, you get kind of Roberto Carlos. Has often been the left back, so it's nice to see the right backs, getting themselves on the free kick duty. And it's one of those things in football where you say football, and it takes a little while to understand that. Fullbacks, they've got a history of being really good free kick takers. You're like, have they? It's just kind of just a bit of an oddity, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. It's interesting, but I mean, it was a lovely free kick, a lovely finish from the lad. He looks like he's going to be very, very good, which is very, very annoying because he's a Liverpool player.
Yeah.
And then Firmino got the third and ended any hope Watford had of a revival.
Again, Ben Foster did really, really well with the first shot, and then rushed out from his parry to stop. Well, he rushed out to see Firmino just head it in. He didn't make any effort to stop the ball. He just rashly ran towards him, and the ball was nodded past him. So, I mean, Ben Foster for me is a step up on other keepers they've had previously, but I still don't think he's a very good, okay goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's never going to be top class, is he? Because he didn't make it at Man United, and he said he couldn't handle the pressure of playing for like a club like Man United. Which,
no,
if I was a manager, I'd be like, well, I don't want him whoever I am in the Premier League, because we're striving to be the best club in the Premier League. But yeah, I don't know. It was just none. Deulofeu goal disallowed. I can't remember. I know it was disallowed. Was it offside and was it correct? I can't remember. I think it was. You have not seen the highlight? Okay. It was a great finish.
No, I've not seen this bit. No.
Inside 2 minutes. Yeah, Deulofeu, maybe a minute and a half into the game or something, ran onto a lovely through ball and rifled a shot past Alisson. And it was flagged offside, and I can't remember from the replay that I've seen if it was right or wrong. I think it was correct, but it was one of those that it was like, any day that could be given as a generous go through to the striker, and that would have changed the game. Like a minute and a half in, being 1-0 up at home, you think Watford would have really put a defensive display on, but yeah, no, not to be. And then, next up, Man City. Brilliant. Let's go and chat about Man City. Scoring, fluid football, lovely football.
So Liverpool get 3, Man City get 4, and it's just constant, isn't it? It's almost as if they didn't even have to try. They were 3-0 up after 35 minutes, and it's like, well, that's that then. And it's just... Do you know what I might have to do this as analysis. Like, it almost feels like Man City should be given a handicap. Like, when they play against sides, I don't know, in the bottom half, or even anybody outside the start on -2. I'd love to see what points tally they got last season if they started on -2.
I reckon they'd still be up there. I reckon they'd still...
I wouldn't have got relegated. They would be... So many games have they scored won by 2-goal margin. So yeah, I'm going to have a look at last...
Can you do that? Yeah.
I'll have a look at last season's results and see what point tally they would have got with a -2 against. What should we say? Everybody outside the top 6?
Yeah, top 6. Seven and below. 7 and below. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they've even got points off Tottenham still because I think they beat us by a couple of goal margin.
Yeah, well there you go. So have a look into that and report back in the next episode. That'd be great.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, Man City weren't fantastic, and West Ham weren't even horrific. But I mean, Mendy's now out for I think 10 to 12 weeks, and Delph's back at left back, which is a step down. He looked a bit ropey.
Yeah, I mean, but all this game showed to me is that Man City don't need to be anywhere near top gear to smash someone 4-0. Like they were nowhere near it. West Ham had some good chances and played well, but now Man City don't have a ghost in goal in Claudio Bravo. They actually have a very good goalkeeper who keeps concentration and stays alive, and like he made a great save from Mikel Antonio. But yeah, just like Man City, I mean, for their Pep Guardiola to come out in his after the game interview and be like, we were really lucky, we were quite lucky, and not at our best at all. You won 4-0, mate. I've just witnessed my team draw 0-0 with Crystal Palace at home. And that was probably Mourinho would probably come out and be like, we played really well. It's like, well, sod off. He didn't say that, but yeah.
Do you know what I feel? I feel that as long as Pep's there, it seems like Man City are going to win the league. So one of the other top 5, maybe even 4, 3 if you exclude whoever United from the moment. But all they've got to do is keep their current sides together. longer than Man City keep Guardiola.
Yeah, but
because when Guardiola leaves Man City, they won't be it'll then be a level playing field, and then the other side, if they've kept, I say, if Liverpool managed to keep Salah and throughout that time, if Spurs managed to keep Kane, Ali, if Chelsea managed to keep Hazard throughout the time, when Guardiola leaves Man City, there'll be the chance again for them to win leagues. It doesn't seem like it exists at the moment.
But don't you think that when Guardiola leaves, Man City will just get the next best manager in? I mean,
they will.
That's
going to be a big step down, isn't it?
Well, I don't think. Like, let's say that Guardiola stays there for this is all hypothetical. If Guardiola stays there for 3 more years and they win the Champions League, let's say Liverpool do okay, but Klopp leaves to go and manage, I don't know, Bayern Munich or something like that, which would never happen. He goes back to Borussia Dortmund again. Let's say he goes back to Borussia Dortmund and does okay, nothing spectacular in one season with Dortmund, and then Man City basically chuck money at Jurgen Klopp. And in a perfect world, Jurgen Klopp would never manage someone else in the Premier League if you're a Liverpool fan, but let's say it happened. Then would you not think people would be scared of Man City's Klopp aura?
I think they would, but I think that by changing managers, you get that one, like the first year of Guardiola. He took a year to adjust. He needs a year to get his new players that play to his style, and I think that opens up that window of opportunity for a league to be won. I think with the transition period of manager changing, they may get them back onto the same level that they were, or similar level to what Guardiola's put them on, but I think that there'll be a transition period where other teams can go, right, this is our chance. Like Spurs have had their chance to win the league in the last 3 years, is it? When Chelsea and Leicester won it, they were the transition years where sides were well below par, and we missed those opportunities. We should have, if other things had gone our way, we could have had a league title. But it's those type of opportunities you need to take with both hands.
Yeah, very true, very true. Well, again, it's interesting. Let us know in the comments below what you think. Will Man City will they lose some of their aura and their invincibility when Guardiola leaves? Yeah, let us know. But Tom, come on, Josh, let's get to the game you want to talk about.
Oh yeah. So to tell you how confident I was before this game, I put a number of pounds on Chelsea to win.
Well done.
But luckily, I lost that money. And Spurs reigned superior, 3-1, and it should have been more. And this was probably our best performance. The first half especially was our best performance I've seen for a long, long time.
Hands down.
Absolutely all over them. It was just embarrassing for Chelsea.
It was a great performance. So I'm going to interrupt and just say it was a fantastic game to see. Like, it was wonderful. It was wonderful to see Spurs flowing like that. It was brilliant.
And it was wonderful to see how haphazard Chelsea were. They were... I could talk for hours on this, but... So, let's talk through the goals. So we obviously have first goal from Spurs was a whipped free kick from Eriksen, flicked on by Ali. Kepa does his best, but it's just far too for him to get... I think he does it almost as good. If a keeper had saved that, you'd say that's an unbelievable save. So I'm not putting any blame on him there. Second goal, I don't know who I want to blame here. So second goal is
Jorginho.
Kane is about 30,
it's
30 yards. Yeah. Kane's about 30 yards out, and as Kane now does again, didn't do for about 6 months, takes a pot shot, and
David Luiz
contorts himself out of the way of the ball, and Kepa, maybe unsighted, doesn't dive for the ball, and the ball ends up about a metre inside Kepa's right hand post. It's just like, you think a deflection's happened when you first see it. You think, I didn't see a deflection, but it must have been because keeper didn't dive, and it's nowhere near in the bottom corner, and it's that far out. But no, Luiz bends himself out of the way. Kepa doesn't even move. I mean, both are to blame there, and even midfielders to blame there because no one applies any pressure. It's just overall all.
Yeah.
And then we have the third Tottenham goal, and Heung-min Son probably had some goals already, but it's just a simple ball down the flank by Dele Alli. And Heung-min Son, lovely little change of pace, makes a mockery of Jorginho and just keeps running into the box and then out like a caretaker sweeping up a absolutely nothing and just gets left behind. You're like, what on earth has happened there? Completely. You think, has a nutmeg happened? No, he's literally just stepped past you, and then Son just slots it into the back to the far corner, and it's just like that is awful from Chelsea. And the blame I'd put on it, part of me is blaming Sarri, because you are wasting. The man who's just signed a bumper contract, N'Golo Kante has just signed a bumper contract, you are wasting him playing him higher in midfield. If N'Golo Kante is tracking Heung-min Son there's no goal.
Yeah,
not a chance
I totally
to
agree.
Heung-min Son get through there.
Totally agree. I can't... I quite liked the look of Jorginho since he's signed for Chelsea, and I think this game just showed up every single flaw he has. He's not quick, he can't mark people, he's not defensive enough to be that role. And you're right, if Kante plays that, I think it was it Jorginho, I think, that got done for Ali's header as well. I think it was Jorginho that was marking Ali.
Was it?
And Jorginho just didn't even jump.
And the last two games, Everton and Spurs, special tactics to stop Jorginho getting the ball, and he gets completely marked out of the game. He's not got that individual talent that if he gets the ball he can beat the men. He hasn't got any passing options. Therefore he is no threat, and it is completely easy to mark him out of the game, and it is just completely nullifies them. And every other side will be seeing how well that's worked, and Sarri needs to do something about it, because otherwise it will continue and Chelsea will be absolutely toothless. I mean, they changed the game a little bit. When Chelsea brought on Barkley, he played well. Giroud did quite good. Pedro seemed a little bit more energetic, but it's just... I mean, let's also just spare a moment for David Luiz as well, because that man is stealing a living.
Terrible. He's awful.
Yeah.
He's awful. What did Gary Neville call him? PlayStation defender.
Yeah, it's like someone else is controlling him when you realise you're running up the pitch with a defender. You're like, oh god, quick L1, let's get that player back into defence. And you oh god, but I mean he's that type of player you see a Foot Manager and you go, god, look at his stats, they're fantastic. When you go, hold on a minute, he's a centre back. He doesn't need any of these stats.
Yeah, concentration 2. It's like,
creativity 17, lovely. Oh, why are you a centre back?
Yeah, but. It's just, is this the undoing of Chelsea's season, do you think? Now that 2 teams in a row have done the Jorginho marking tactic?
I think it is. I think it stops this kind of Sarri kind of honeymoon period, because he'd said, fair to play to him, he'd said, we're ahead of schedule, and it's one of those things. I think we've when we played Foot Manager ourselves, and you see it sometimes with clubs, they kind of start off really well, like Watford did the season. They start off really well, and then all of a sudden it all catches up, and we go, hold on, they were just kind of on a little bit of roll there. When it's going a little bit awry, then you see what they've got about them, and so I think it will be a tough. We need to not let this set into a kind of a run of form, because you're over in the December period, so they want to make sure they don't find themselves on the wrong end of that.
Very true, very true. I mean, should we end the review there? I think I quite like our
I just want to say
go for it.
One word for Alvaro Morata. That man apparently is still offside, because that man has been offside more times this season than Bournemouth.
That's ridiculous.
It's just so disheartening for a midfielder. It's like, move's broken down again, let's shuttle back. He's so average.
He's been such a disappointment. He was so good, wasn't he? Well, off the bench and stuff for Madrid and Juve and that, he was just... And yeah.
Even in his first kind of 10 games for Chelsea, I remember him scoring that hat-trick against Stoke, was it? He scored that lovely goal, and he moved with the ball so well. He was quick, he was powerful, finished beautifully. And you look at a player like that, I mean, you look at a player like Harry Kane. Harry Kane's somewhat unorthodox. He...
lumbering.
Hasn't got the best poison balance. Every time you watch him, that man's got a dirty shirt. The front of his shirt is covered in mud because he just almost bundles himself to the ground. But then you look at Morata, you think, oh, this bloke, look at him, touch, perfect, beautiful, and the goal scoring stats just tell them apart, and it's just chalk and cheese. But yeah, we'll leave it there. What a lovely weekend of football. On to the whole week of now. We've got Inter, Spurs, and Arsenal next weekend, so long may this good feeling continue.
Yes, definitely. So,
all right, so we now go into what
I
is
need
known
a
as.
wiki files. You got a wiki file. I got a wiki file for you. Hey.
Yes, Dave. That wasn't recorded. It may have sounded recorded, listener, but that was.
Oh no, it's live. It's live.
Yeah.
Oh my
All
god.
right.
What have you sent me here?
So, say what you see. I've sent over my wiki files to David, and so what do you see, Dave?
Well, I've got a player that started in Crystal Palace's youth team in '96 and '98. And then in 1998, he graduated to Crystal Palace's first team for 4 years, making 157 appearances, scoring 61 goals. Then he moved to Birmingham in 2002, was there for 3 years, 87 appearances, 14 goals. Didn't fancy the Midlands, so went back to London for Crystal Palace, 2005 to 2008, 124 appearances, 41 goals. Lost love of London and moved back to the Midlands to Coventry City for 2 years, 2008-2010, 91 appearances, 21 goals. Then went to Sheffield Wednesday, 2010-2012, 54 appearances, 7 goals. And then...
Goals are drying up, aren't they?
The goals are drying up, and so's the career, you could say. 2011, Milton Keynes on loan. Wow, 1 in 2. 3 goals in 6 appearances. Then a loan to Brentford, 0 goals in 8 appearances. Then Colchester United. Why Colchester United decided to buy him when he hadn't scored any goals for Brentford is a question. 2012 to 2014, 4 goals in 65 appearances.
They played him a lot.
They played him a lot, yeah. And then Long Eaton United, 1 goal in 3 games. Exeter City, 1 goal in 45 games. Redditch United, 1 goal in 3 games, and Mikolova Sports, 2 goals in 26 appearances.
Do you want a hint here, Dave? Do you want me to isolate his Premier League career for you?
Yes, please.
So he made his first ever appearance for Crystal Palace in the Premier League, scoring a goal in his first match, and that's all he played that season. But then it's his Birmingham career, which is Premier League.
Okay, so the 87 appearances for Birmingham are Premier League, are they?
Premier League appearances, yep.
Oh, wow.
Anyone springing to mind? You got anybody rattling around in that brain box of yours?
Not really. I'm trying to think of like a Londoner that played for Birmingham when I was there at university. I'm really... Clinton Morrison.
Oh my goodness!
Is it? Yes!
Wow!
The Irish Clinton Morrison.
You know what? That was going to be when I was going to send over national stats to you. I'd be like, I don't think this is going to help him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is
where did
Clinton
I pull
Morrison.
that from? I'm well happy with that.
I don't know.
I knew he was good at Crystal Palace. That is a nosediving of a career, isn't it?
It is. I mean, he's not a Premier League striker, is he? He was. I saw him on TV. It must have been some, or maybe Football Focus or something like that. And he was talking about. He said, "Oh, he's got 87 Premier League appearances," and I didn't mention his goals because that's 14 goals and 87 appearances. That's pretty poor.
Yeah, that is pretty rubbish as a striker. But
any memories of Clinton Morrison? What you got?
He just struck me as a bit of a thug, a bit of a knobhead. I don't have any standout memories of goals or anything like that. No, it was a bit irrelevant in my life, Clinton Morrison. Well, obviously not that irrelevant. I remembered who he is from just his wiki file. But yeah, no, not really. Anything for you?
No, I just remember that Birmingham team of around that time, and I think it must have been the area of kind of. Do you remember Julian Gray?
Yep.
Also Palace. I think that was probably Emil Heskey era. It was probably the Mario Melchior.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's that kind of.
Wow, that's an uninspiring era.
It is, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be, I think, probably Steve Bruce era. So that says it all, really, doesn't it?
Exactly.
But,
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
he's piled on the pounds a little bit since I last saw him.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, wiki files done. Easy.
Done.
I say easy. I don't know where I pulled that from. I literally have no idea. I'm happy with that. I'm really happy that I got that.
I honestly thought it was going to be a dead end to that one, but well done. Well done, Dave. So we go on to our talking point of the week. So this may be a poll we sometimes do, or a question, this week we offered a question, and Dave, it was an inspired question from yourself. What kind of led you to this question? You want to give the listeners any kind of background thought there?
I saw it on Football 365. As a little, if you've ever read a Football 365 article, they have normally like a little cutout bit in the middle, which sometimes asks a quizzy sort of question, or it just asks a general question for comments below on their page. And it was such a good question. I thought that I'd literally nick it for our podcast.
Okay.
And it was, what is the one signing that your club nearly made but didn't, that you really wish they had? And Josh, you listed quite a few for Spurs.
I mean, I'm always been a big fan of the football rumours. We talked previously about our transfer deadline day. I've always been a big fan, and I remember like the days of reading it in newspapers. I remember being on holiday with my family and reading like football transfer gossip in like the tiny bit of papers. There used to be a CPAC club call or something like that, maybe, to read transfer rumours. I've always been abreast of all the players who almost signed, and be it paper talk, and you never really know kind of how close some players signed. But I remember back in the day, you remember Diego, when Santos had Diego and Robinho. That Diego went to be a star for Juve and for Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
And Spurs were heavily linked with him back in the day. I think it was the David Pleat eras where we may have signed him. But that would have been a lovely one to have come off if it had. Quite a few Brazilians we kind of almost signed. So obviously in recent time there was Willian, who, I mean, that was close. That was set to have his medical, then naffed off to the other side of London. But do you know what? I don't feel too bad for missing out on Willian. I'm not the biggest Willian fan, so Chelsea, you can have him.
Okay.
Don't mind him. Especially, I don't particularly like the Brazilian players who've been to Shakhtar. I feel like you definitely have highlighted to me that you're all in it for money. I mean, why does a Brazilian player want to go to Ukraine? So I I'm already questioning your professionalism.
That doesn't bother me, that they're in it for money. Why not? If they've come from a hard life, they want to do the best they can and get the most money they can.
Well, absolutely.
But
you
could argue,
don't go Axel Witsel on me.
Yeah,
because
okay.
that man.
Yeah, I mean,
that man really. I mean, this is the first time in his career that Axel Witsel's playing in a top 5 league.
Yeah.
This season.
True. Yeah. True.
And he's 29. He's gone Liège, Benfica, Zenit, and then that Chinese side. It's like you shouldn't a player of that talent. You shouldn't get to the age of 29 and then finally play in a top 5 league. But that's beside the point. Yeah. So Willian, we almost signed. Then there was a few years of rumours of Leandro Damião. Do you remember? Were you aware of these rumours? Do you know this? Yeah.
Independiente, wasn't it? Was it Independiente?
Yes, Independiente. It was, yeah. And I've never seen the man play. But it was rumoured he was going to be our, fill that goal scoring void, but it never ever happened. And there was also a player who I used to quite like. He was a bit of a shithouse, so it was Mark van Bommel, who now manages PSV, who I've seen obviously play a little bit in the Champions League. And the only question I have is that I remember Mark van Bommel as a player having very curly hair.
Yeah.
He's now on the bench managing PSV. Has a lot less curly hair, much straighter. So I think something's gone on there. But that's breaking news for you there.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you. Didn't know that.
Yeah. What about yourself as a Man United fan? Did many get away?
Yes. Well, no, not that. Well, you don't know, do you? But obviously one.
No.
Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was so close. How good would it have been to have him in the Premier League?
I love Ronaldinho. I do love Ronaldinho.
I love him. I absolutely love him, and it would have been epic to have had him in the Premier League at my club at Man United. So that's probably the biggest one where he was. He came and had a tour of Old Trafford and everything like that, and we were very close apparently to getting him. He had the shirt. I think he was going to get the number 7 as well. And then Barcelona swooped, and that was it. That
would have been similar time to. Would that have been similar time to Ronaldo just coming on the scene? Or would it have been a bit before that? I can't.
It was just before that. Yeah, it would have been just before that. But yeah, so that was my main one, Ronaldinho, and then just probably slightly before my time of actually understanding football and transfers and stuff, Gaza. You know,
Yes.
Would Gaza of life have been changed under Sir Alex Ferguson? I mean, his football would have been brilliant. Fergie would have embraced him for what he was, and that fell through and didn't work. And then the third one, weirdly, was, you know, you can argue it worked out well anyway because we got Solskjaer for a lot cheaper. But I would have liked to have seen what Alan Shearer could have done at Man United. Like,
I think Alan Shearer.
I think yeah.
I think he would have liked it because the man's not really won much in his career. I think he would have been really. I mean, he'd have won a lot, wouldn't he? I think that would have been very impressive to see him there.
Yeah,
I think Harry Kane would have been tracking down a lot larger goal tally as well.
100%, definitely. I think they're like my top three that I know what of ones that were quite close and like were realistically going to happen and didn't. But the biggest one is Ronaldinho. Yeah, Ronaldinho to United would have been incredible.
Yeah. I mean, I asked a few other fans as well around what they thought. So a friend of ours, Jim, a Norwich fan, he mentioned David Beckham. Apparently, he was there on trial as a
bollocks
as a 12-year-old. Yeah,
12. We're not talking bloody. Jim.
Yeah, but I mean, David Beckham was in the academy at Spurs as well, then chose Man United. But apparently, he was always a fan. So. That's fair enough. He did mention. He reminded me of the famous Kenny Dalglish quote. Why do we need Zidane when we've got Tim Sherwood? Because Blackburn Rovers passed up the opportunity to sign Zinedine Zidane.
Amazing. Tim Sherwood in his gilet is better than Zidane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incredible.
And Blackburn also turned down the chance to sign Robert Lewandowski.
They did. I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he was due to fly to Blackburn to meet club officials while Lech Poznan, but due to that Icelandic volcano, he couldn't fly across Europe.
Imagine what a waste of a career that would have been.
Yeah, but he was able to drive to Germany, so he went to visit Dortmund, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. Did anybody else get in touch with?
Yeah, I have a Liverpool fan. Friend Andy, he reared off a big list. I mean, I think this is a lot of paper talk. Apparently, there's Liverpool in for like Cristiano Ronaldo, Diego Costa, Dani Alves, Sergio Aguero. But I think with players like that, I think so many clubs would have known of them that.
Yeah,
they probably all had a little bid going on. I mean, I think for me, the Liverpool one is Dele Alli. Dele Alli was a Liverpool fan growing up, and they just didn't act on it quick enough, and Spurs got in there, bought him for $5 million, and then loaned him back to MK Dons. So if I was a Liverpool fan of recent times, one which really feels like it got away would have been that one.
Yeah, very true, very true. I mean, the problem with this sort of question is that you don't want to end up like Arsene Wenger. Oh, we could have signed him. We could have signed Ibrahimovic. We could have signed like Ronaldo. We could have signed this guy. We could have signed that guy. And it's sort of like, yeah, could you really sort of thing? But yeah, I know what you mean. Obviously, Shiv got in touch with us on Twitter as well. Wolves fan. He said, you know, Andre Gomez, Yerry Mina, and Reece Nelson were linked to Wolves. But the one that really sticks in his throat is they had a choice of signing Callum Wilson or Leon Clark, and they went for Leon Clark. So yeah. That's not very good if you're a Wolves fan, but look on the bright side, Wolves are now absolutely flying. So
yeah, I'll shout out to Reece Nelson though, doing absolutely outstanding work on the Bundesliga. 6 goals in 8 games, I think it is.
Yeah.
So
doing very well.
Yeah. All right. Any more?
Not for me. I've done my ones for Man United, and that's about it, really. I mean, I wish Cristiano Ronaldo was English or Ryan Giggs was English, if they count, but unfortunately not.
No, but I think if the players who got away for Man United, I feel like you still had a good run of it for a few years. That they maybe wouldn't have made too much of an impact. I think you still did all right.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just more of it's a massive what if, isn't it? Like Gaza, because it's a sense of. It's not necessarily even about the football. It's like would Fergie have helped him knocked him into shape to sort his life out?
I think I look at that as well. Like, I think could he have just kind of? I don't think he could, because I think those mental issues will always be there. and
Yeah.
but it'd be nice to. I think it's always nice to take a player who didn't win much but had lots of talent and add those kind of memories for them. So like Alan Shearer didn't win too much, Gaz didn't win too much. I mean, apparently Matt Le Tissier did sign a contract, but then the very next day he ripped it up because like, no, I'm staying at Southampton. So not that we won anything at that time, but it's a shame when you see players who have so much talent but nothing in their trophy cabinet, because I think they must feel some element of regret about it.
Yeah, and I totally agree. But yeah, there we go then. So that's that was our little bit for that week. So Josh,
and so we finally it up with the quiz answers. Now you've had, a little bit of time to think while I've been talking and we've been chatting. You had remaining on this quiz question was, who was the last manager to win a European trophy for Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool and Man United? You've correctly guessed Liverpool, which was Rafa Benitez winning the Champions League in 04-05 against AC Milan. And you correctly guessed Jose Mourinho winning Europa League in 16-17 against Ajax. But who won it for Arsenal last, and who won it for Chelsea last? Because you had an incorrect Chelsea answer. You had Roberto Di Matteo winning the Champions League. You brought that nightmare of a memory back up for me, Dave. Why did you do that?
Sorry about that, yeah. But I do have Chelsea's one, but I haven't got a foggiest about Arsenal. Now, if I'm correct, it's the same manager that for Liverpool that won it for Chelsea, and it was Benitez winning the Europa League against Benfica. They won 2-1.
That is correct, yes.
And I just don't
know
the
old
year.
Rafa.
Yeah, it was Rafa.
That is Arsenal, in 2012-13.
Oh, okay. And then Arsenal, I don't have a clue. I can't. It must be a dodgy Cup Winners' Cup or European. It is a
dodgy Cup Winners' Cup.
It is a Cup Winners' Cup.
Cup Winners in 93-94.
Oh wow, George Graham. Or was that Wenger?
Oh my goodness, he's got it.
Yes, I was going to say it was definitely before Wenger. George Graham.
Pulling these answers out your arse. Crikey.
It's all up here somewhere, Josh. It's all up in the noggin somewhere.
Impressive.
Happy with that. Cup Winners' Cup. Well, Arsenal they've won dick all in Europe, haven't they? So it's going to be a dodgy little.
Oh, they've lost a fair bit, haven't they?
They were, yeah.
Their losses.
I'm glad they lost to Barcelona in the Champions League final. It won me a reasonable amount of money, which was lovely.
Oh. Gamble responsibly, alright?
Yeah, when the fun stops, or when you move to Singapore, stop, because you can't access any of your betting accounts in the UK. So.
Oh, is that right? Do they not have what betting accounts you can access?
No, you've got to go through totally legal means on your PC using virtual networks to access them. But no, it's very highly frowned upon, betting. So I don't do it. I just don't do it anymore out here. It's not worth the hassle.
We can have a chat, Dave. We can have a chat. You let me know what you're thinking. I'll go, that's a rubbish bet.
Yeah,
no money will change hands, but yeah.
Like
all right. Well, I think we've come to. Unless you have anything else, any other business, AOB, as we do in the meetings world.
No, Michael Ballsack. It's still on my mind. Brilliant.
Yeah, you got a Ballsack on your forehead.
Oh my god! Right. Okay. Let's end
that
it.
Bombshell. You can find us on Twitter at Football Talk, but remember.
There's no A in football.
You can find us on SoundCloud. You can find us on YouTube. And we're here almost every week, apart from when we're not. But we'll see you and listen to us next time. You say goodbye, Dave?
Bye, Dave.
Incorrect. But goodbye, everybody. Until next time.
Michael Ballsack.